Welcome back. This is G. You're watching Allastrology. This is for the Virgo area in your chart. Virgo and 2025. We're talking about how the Virgo area of your chart will relate with the Aquarius energy. Remember, Pluto and Aquarius for the next 18 years. And how it will relate to the North Node in Pisces and the kind of conversations and what it will look like with the South Node in Virgo. So this is kind of an interesting next 18 months for Virgo energy in that way. Whether you're a Virgo sun, moon, or rising, if you're not any of those things, don't worry about it. This video is absolutely for you because you have 30 degrees of Virgo in your chart. First of all, Pluto's about changing and transformation. It's about making changes on a very deep level because it's that rotor and it stuff comes floating up to the top. Stuff we were like, oh my God, I did not know that was a thing. I didn't know that was there. I didn't know that existed. Usually because it's Pluto shit, it's stuff that's been hiding in the deep and the dark and below the surface. And sometimes it could be shocking and surprising because it's an Aquarius, you see? So Pluto energy in Virgo, in the Virgo placements, your Virgo area is like your daily routines and your health, but and your job too, right? Your domestic side of life. Literally, like your day-to-day routines. You get up, you brush your teeth, you go into the kitchen, maybe you do it reverse. You get up, you maybe you meditate first. You get up, maybe the first thing you do is you go out for a walk, right? Everyone's got their own little routine. Virgo energy, routines, day-to-day routines. But what about the routines at the job, right? Whether you're at the job, maybe you work in the home, right? Wherever, whatever your day-to-day routines are is your Virgo energy. And normally there's something connected to it being very material and tangible and grounded energy because it's the Virgo qualities that set us up for the success, right? It's an earth energy. So it being earth, our health, our clothing, the food. So we think cleaning, we think food prep and food eating and our gut and digestion, and how if all those things don't really work, it kind of makes it difficult to do the Capricorn accomplishments. It makes it hard to go to the next earth sign, right? Because Capricorn is just like, okay, I am climbing that ladder now. Well, you can't climb that ladder unless you're feeling good, right? You got to, if you're climbing that professional ladder, you got to look a certain way. You have to act a certain way. There's rules and regulations you got to follow. So the preparatory Virgo stuff is really, really important. It's the minutia, it's the details, it's the connecting of the dots. Virgo can strive for perfection, right? Cleaning, cleanliness is like next to godliness. Like that is so totally, that saying belongs in the Virgo family, cleanliness next to godliness. Um, the connection and the conversation with Pluto and Aquarius is going to be uncomfortable. It's not a stress and tension. It's not a square. It's what we call a quincunx. A quincunx angle creates 150 degrees away from each other. Sometimes we're sitting down and having a conversation. Sometimes we're not. And when we are, there's something about that energy that irritates the shit out of me, right? I'm irritated by it. And the thing with Aquarius energy that can be irritating, first of all, it's friends, it's group energy, it's groups because it's Aquarius. It can be online energy, right? And Aquarius energy with Pluto there can be the rise of somebody who's in power. It's power to individuals. So maybe some friends are getting positions of power. Maybe you have an authority figure in your life, right? Maybe a friend becomes a boss all of a sudden. Maybe this is mom or dad, right? A boss at the job type of thing. There's some sort of an irritation, agitation. There can be a little bit of kind of like the institutional energy here because it's Aquarius and then we go to Pisces. But Aquarius is like science and technology, right? It's about, we think NASA, right? We think space. We think, companies that are literally on the cutting edge of inventing things, because Aquarius is, we think Nikola Tesla, right? We think of all these different inventions that help the advancement of humanity. And again, the word advancement for humanity, like that phrase, it's really conveniences. you know Conveniences. It helped people to move faster, to go further faster. We think airplanes, we think ships. It's mass transportation, right? That's Aquarius energy. It's global stuff. Global. It's big systems, big systems. All right. So that connection with the Virgo, the irritations, people of power, people of in authority positions, and then likely people who are abusing their authority for sure. Because Virgo tendency, it can see the details and it can connect the dots and it can be like, hey, like you suck. That's wrong. You're abusing your power. Like Virgo can be very, very much about, going high up on the analytical side to where it's critical and where it might be like, hey, like chill. So there's a lesson here with the annoying, with the irritation of Aquarius energy. Aquarius is known to some of its traits, it can be that scientist, literally. Um, we think of astrology. So it's connecting things on multiple levels. It's intellect, it's creative intellect. It's taking ideas and literally taking them to the next level where we're bringing them into the material and the tangible. So when that happens, we can think of public figures in the world. Don't want to name names because don't need to. But we can think of some people where they may either have gotten credit in history for inventions that weren't really theirs, right? You hear all those stories, so and so stole so and so's invention, when many times, because the energy just exists and it just is, it's a matter of who can hear it and who latches onto it and who does something with it. So many times you'll usually hear about simultaneously coming up with ideas. And it's like, well, how's that possible? Right? Well, it is a thing and it is possible. But the difference is somebody may see the way another person packaged something or the way they were able to talk about it and put it into words, and it was more relatable. And then they were able to like run with it. So sometimes with Aquarius energy, because Saturn's involved here, right? Remember the old ruler, right? Saturn and Uranus. So with those two rulers side by side, there's something about climbing that ladder. There is something about the long-term goal. And the Virgo energy can get along with Saturn because it says there's rules that we have to follow. But the Aquarian energy that doesn't want to follow the rules, this is where Virgo will be like, well, this makes no sense. The rules are here for a reason. That's why we have the rules, right? Because without the rules, there's chaos. And Virgo wants shit to be orderly. So it would be really annoying for the Virgo energy, right? When it's like, hey, all of a sudden you're just breaking with convention. So there's that piece of it. There is that piece of it where I could see Virgo being annoyed. But the lesson here with the uncomfortableness, especially in group energy and friends, is to just learn to detach. It's not a square. It's not a tug of war. You're not in opposition. It's an irritation. And I know that's easier said than done sometimes. But the reality is that is one of the lessons of Aquarius, is learn to be detached, to realize it's not worth it. Just detach from it. Keep your peace of mind. You like things neat and orderly and in a specific way. You want your shit to make sense. You do that in your world, at home, right? You do that within your day-to-day routines, because Aquarius is about going beyond the boundaries. It is about pushing all of us beyond our comfort zones. And it's asking us to actually expand our comfort zones, to consider something we wouldn't have considered before. So just keep in mind with your Virgo energy that the uncomfortableness of Pluto in Aquarius is likely maybe somebody in power really pushing your buttons. Okay. Maybe it's simply just a friend, not like necessarily, like a public figure, but it can be a boss at a job. And you just always got to come back down to your Virgo common sense, which is, I got a roof over my head. It pays my bills until I can find something better. If it truly is irritating and you're like, I can't take it, then you just persistently look for something else. until that other thing comes along. You keep riding this train so that you are making sure that you are taking care of all the Virgo necessities, right? My health, a roof over my head, the basics, the common sense needs is Virgo. I am clean. I am safe. I am dry, right? I have clothing. I have food. Like that's some of the common sense stuff. Virgo's job is to go within and to just do a good job at taking care of the common sense basics. Okay. Holistic stuff goes a long way with Virgo energy, right? We're working with it and we're learning how to, you know, Virgo already knows how to adapt, which is great. This is actually one of the powers of Virgo is it is flexible, which doesn't make sense because Virgo can be so analytical, but it knows how to pivot. It knows how to pivot when it has to. So it's almost like it might have to embrace a little bit more of the pivoting energy because we have to then be dealing with the North and the South nodes in Pisces and in Virgo. So let me get into a little bit of the Pisces stuff first. Now, for the next 18 months, right, Pisces has the North Node, which creates an opposition for you. This is where the push pull. This is where the power play. This is where the power struggle. This is the tug of war, the teeter totter thing. Like, hey, this is where I'm headed. North Node. This is about your future. North Node. This is Pisces. Okay. So look in your chart. What house is that in? That's where the North Node is going to be pushing all the Pisces themes and keywords. What are some of those? Spirituality, religion, institutional energy. For some people, this can be insurances. This can be Social Security. This can be working for an institution, right? This can be, I need to go on unemployment type of thing because it's institutional support, right? We think of protection. We think of the big bubble, like Jupiter is the ancient ruler. Jupiter can enhance things, sensitivities, sound, sensitivities, energetic sensitivities, North Node in Pisces. All of a sudden, the the Pisces areas of your chart will likely be amped up in sensitivity. So the question is, what house is this in for you? What else is Pisces? It's surrender. It's surrender. It's acceptance. Pisces is about forgiveness and understanding. Obviously, they don't go in that order, right? First, you'd have to have some understanding usually before you can forgive. Doesn't mean you have to 100% agree. It just means that you come to a place where you're like, I have to let this go, the surrender part, right? That's Pisces. So the North Node being there emphasizes your religion, but your spirituality, because not everybody's into religion, but the spirituality, right? The emphasis on the other side and the unseen and that realm, right? That's Pisces, but it's also my need to escape. How do I escape? What can I do to escape? So we think of movies, we think of creating. What is it that you do to create? This would be a great time to connect to other ways, other modalities of hooking up with your creative energy, because that is a way for you to have peace and a sense of freedom and a sense of it's like respite. You know, when you go to sleep, Pisces, when I need to sleep, I need to sleep. I need to rest, relax, and restore. This is all Pisces. So we might find that area of our chart, we're going to need to sleep more. Like, because that's just what it is. We'll need to sleep and rest. And we have to kind of honor that. For some, connecting with the art is when we relax, it's when we rest. And that's okay too. For some, it's listening to more things, music and sound, whatever that is. Everybody's got a different mode of what they like to do for sound. Okay. Some are going to play an instrument, right? Theater, Hollywood, make believe, fantasy, right? This is all Pisces stuff. This is all that realm. Yes, this is public figures and acting, and it can be a little dramatic and overly dramatic because this is Pisces. It's a little on the dramatic side. So we kind of want to be aware of that. Pisces energy can be a little difficult to be around because when it gets to be a little bit dramatic, it can also go to the point of it goes too far into it, and it kind of over um I can't think of the word, but there's like an over identification to the woe is me thing. Like, oh my God, look what's happening to me. It's the pity party. Pisces can have moments of really being in the pity party, or the martyr. Like, I'm always the one who has to sacrifice, because that's Pisces too. It has a tendency to sacrifice. The problem with that is that for Pisces, in this area of my chart, in this area of your chart, for that Pisces energy, we're the ones responsible for the amount of sacrificing we do. It's not, you can't point a finger at somebody else. No one can make you sacrifice. If you've sacrificed, that was a choice you made. The difference is that sometimes Pisces gets this, it can even get to a resentful point, because it's like, but I sacrificed. What did you do? I sacrificed all those years, that kind of thing. And it's like, hey, wait a minute. This was something we talked about. This was something you wanted to do. Right. And so, yeah, just like be aware of that. Doesn't mean it has to happen that way for you, but be aware of that energy, because there's probably points in time in all of our lives where we've experienced that, regardless of what end we were on. Right. So Pisces can tend to, go to the martyr syndrome type thing. The other thing about Pisces energy is we think of possibly travel and foreigners and foreign lands and vacation, even that might be a thing. And so there's a lot of different ways that can look, because for some people, vacation might be, hey, you need to spend some time in the hospital, right? Or some time in a prison. And the word vacation and prison don't go together, but it means you're being pulled away from what you normally do. You're going to go on a little vacation type of thing, right? You're going to go and, yeah, that's a little bit of humor in there, right? But Pisces is all of that. It means we're not seen, right? Somehow we're kind of pulled away, and we're not in the normal routine of what we were normally doing. And because it's Pisces energy and the South Node is in Virgo, this may mean something about your job and in the home, because Virgo's domestic. It's domestic energy. So we go to the Virgo energy of your chart now, the very opposite of the Pisces, right? Virgo and Pisces, North Node, South Node. South Node in Virgo brings up the past. There's something here now where the past can possibly come back. It doesn't have to be a duplicate of it, but something familiar and similar coming back, something that maybe wasn't completely and fully processed even and released. Something, it could be with the Virgo's qualities of being too deep into the details. And so we might learn to let go of some of the details and not be so overly critical and highly hyper focused on the minutia, because it's the South Node, which is like, hey, this is your superpower, right? Yeah, it's like our superpower comes back in a way. If you think about the South Node that we just had, or that actually we are still in it, I'm recording this in the beginning of November. So we have the South Node in Libra. Lots of divorces happened then. Yeah, a lot of relationships ended then, because there was a release. That's kind of what the South Node does. It's like the South Node area, Virgo, that kind of goes away. So this is also furry friends, because it's domestic pets. So some of us might, unfortunately, the pet might need care, or some pets, it might be their time. But there just might be some things with all the Pisces qualities. For some folks, maybe their pet becomes a star. Like maybe they become like the next cover of the cat food or some shit. I don't know. I'm sure that's all AI now, but you know what I'm saying? Like it can look different ways, right? So the furry friends and the daily routines, the domestic side of life, the South Node is going to be going through there. It really depends like what other planets you have. And again, you might not have any planets that you can see, but rest assured, because Mercury rules Virgo, you always have Mercury sitting there in that Virgo area of your chart. So if Mercury is sitting there, the mind and the thoughts and the way that we communicate. You follow? So there's likely maybe a coworker thing. Maybe I'm losing coworkers, right? Maybe I'm not going to be the coworker anymore. Maybe it's I'm changing departments at the job. Maybe I'm changing the job altogether. Something about the projects and the tasks at the job can possibly be changing. We also associate Mercury to someone who can pack and mail things out, right? Shipping, packaging, right? Because that's the mail person, the shipping and the shipping department, intake and all that. So South Node in Virgo is definitely a release of the Virgo keywords. Might bring up some stuff from the past for you. And when we think of Virgo and the details and the minutia, don't forget health. Something about the details within the health and the gut and the digestion. For some individuals, this, I think, there can be a positive side of releasing possibly certain ailments, because Virgo is the health. So there might be, like, if our Virgo energy was kind of on the sickly side, like there might have been something there where this can come through and this is no longer a problem anymore, right? That can happen. How would that happen? Sometimes people have surgeries and things are removed and we don't have a problem anymore, right? So obviously there would be other planets involved in that, but this is just a general outlook on that Virgo area of your life. With that South Node going through there, you should expect changes. And with those changes, this is where the Virgo's ability to pivot plays a role, because it's Mercury that rules it. Remember, we talked about the Virgo qualities in dealing with the Aquarius, the Pluto and Aquarius, remember? And how that energy was going to create an uncomfortable quincunx, right? A little irritation. I got to itch my back. It's driving me crazy type of thing. But Virgo's ability to think and pivot are going to be its superpower. And with the South Node there, when I speak of your superpower, there might be some of the superpowers, especially with the over busy minds. Virgo people normally have a mind that doesn't shut off. I'm hoping that for some folks, this might be a chance, especially with the North Node in Pisces, where some folks who don't normally get sleep, they truly may be able to get some better sleep now. It's a very good possibility with the North Node in Pisces. So rest, relaxation, meditation, all Pisces keywords. The Virgo thing can be different health routines that you're switching up, homeopathies, if you take vitamins, whatever your holistic routines are, maybe you're switching some of those things up. Right. Absolutely. And it doesn't mean you're altogether throwing it out the window and not doing the holistic stuff. No, you might be expanding your comfort zone and trying something different, right? You might be tiptoeing around the edges of your comfort zone and kind of pushing it a little bit further out to say, well, let's see if we can give this a try and see what happens, because it's like an experiment, Aquarius energy. And just keep in mind, one of the super connections that you will have at this time is with Pluto and Aquarius. Aquarius energy is like the uncle. It's like the uncle, well, maybe I should say grandfather. How about that? Is like the grandfather to Mercury. Mercury and Aquarius get along really well. Aquarius is like the teacher, though. It's Uranus. And Mercury is like the student of Aquarius, of Uranus. Okay. So because you've got this Mercury energy in the Virgo stuff, you have an open line of connection and communication, even though there might be some uncomfortableness. This is a really good opportunity for Virgo area of your life, I think, to really, really make some changes that could, in the long run, be phenomenal, because a lot of it's going to have to do with this. It's an activation of the Aquarian energy and the Mercury energy. This is all the mind and the brain and the way I think about things and raising my consciousness. So for Virgo energy, it's not perfect, but there's no crazy extreme trines. And I think that knowing this, like seeing this on paper, well, as I am, seeing it on paper and plotting out this area of your life, you're like, okay, so I should expect this. I should expect this. So when this comes down the pike, it's not like a shock and a surprise. It's like, okay, this is that Pluto and Aquarius shit, right? Okay, this is that push-pull, that tug of war stuff that G talked about, right? With the Pisces energy, right? Which, yeah, you're used to oscillating and working with Pisces energy because it's the opposite side of Virgo. Surrender, release, prayer, religion, sound and music, and escape and sleep. creating fantasy and my dreams. Maybe there's something here where some of you might have the opportunity to feel like maybe I'm making some headway with my job for my dream to come true. Possibly, if we're open and able to pivot because of the Aquarius and the Mercury connection to your Virgo. Some of you are going to be able to do that. I feel like it. I really do. So I will see you in the next video, which will be number 7, where we will talk about the Libra area of your chart.